Hi everyone, this is Student Forecaster Stephen Boyle for Northeast Weather Center. Hope you all are enjoying your beginning to the weekend. So, what's going on as far as the weather is concerned? Well, we have a storm system exiting the Northeast. There's going to be a little system that moves through the northern plains, and then basically there's going to be a system next week where we could be watching out for the potentials of some more severe weather and possibly seeing some severe weather, maybe reaching as far north as southern New England, but it's kind of tough. It's kind of tough. But again, things will be updating as we go through the week, so we'll. It's still a little bit far out, so there's still plenty of time for things to update. We'll update this for you guys. Here is the current radar, and you can see we've been getting reports from folks in through these areas of Maine that things have been kind of intense as far as the snow goes and wintry precip. So if you live into these areas, I think you're getting some pretty intense snowfalls. But again, if this were moving a little bit slower, I think we could have been talking about some very high amounts of snow, and especially if this came in during the nighttime now, as this would have been very, very intense. But this is moving a little fast, so that's the reason why we're not going to be really talking about a lot for these folks. And basically, everybody in here, I think you're pretty much over with. You may see a few sprinkles or drizzle or something like that. But for the most part, this is also moving in a northeasterly direction, so I'm not too concerned about that. So basically, everything is basically winding down here into the northeast, and this actually moved in a little bit earlier than expected. You'll see on the models that things were kind of a little bit move quite quickly. So and again, we have some leftover snow showers into the UP of Michigan and things like that. But for the most part, not a lot going on. I'm gonna move to the west here because this is where our next little system is coming in. Also, this little area of rain and showers, it's not really anything much. But yeah, for the most part, this is our only really big weather maker in the country right now. Um, and this is the outlook for severe weather next week, and you can already see things are being put out from the SPC for potentials of severe weather. So keep your eyes peeled on that, especially if you're a weather enthusiast or if you know anybody who lives out there, make sure you warn them. If you're a storm chaser, I know you're probably. I do know that there are storm chasers from all around. So if you're a storm chaser, I mean, you're gonna definitely want to keep a check on that. So hopefully things are well for the normal public. Hopefully things aren't going to be too severe for that matter. But for folks who like the weather, hopefully things are a little bit more active with this system. But but again, tornadoes and all of that other stuff, it's still not good to see. Here's our front. It's moving actually very quickly to the east. Again, we have our precip here into the northern portions of New England. We have some leftover snow showers in here, and here comes our next system. Basically, what's going to end up happening is this is going to kind of move like this. We're going to get another system that forms near La Junta, Colorado, so we get another La Junta low. This kind of gets ejected into the Midwest. This kind of forms a storm system. This time it moves up into Canada, and that forms a nice front. Could be bringing showers and thunderstorms into the Northeast, and this time we will have to watch out for the potentials of some severe weather. But we'll again, severe weather, we'll have to kind of play that out by ear because things will be updated as we move along through time. So let's first look at the NAM. And here we go. So this is the surface map, and basically you can see our little storm system moving through. And again, this was actually a little overdone because we're already done with the precip here into these areas. So most of our precip is up in here. There's also again a little bit of a line of of precip kind of extending down like this, but for the most part, the brunt of the precip is in Maine and New Hampshire right now, and that's going to exit out. Things kind of stay on the chilly side, but again, we start warming up on Monday. You can kind of see that nice warm flow from the Atlantic and the Gulf and the Southwest. So basically, things are going to be warming up and through the northern portions of New England and the Northeast. All right, so here comes our next little storm in here, and what's gonna? We actually have a little minor front, but that's not gonna really do much. That little first front won't be doing much, and it's gonna be pretty much moisture stuffed. So it's like I said, I'm not too concerned about that first little front that moves through. So here is the GFS. There's that chilly air. There comes that warm air. Again, that nice warm air comes in on Monday. Okay, so you can kind of see the nice flow. It pushes that cold air back up into Canada. Here's our low pressure in here. I have a little front back out in here, some snow in through portions of the Dakotas and Minnesota. Some snow starting to enter into Canada now. This is going to continue to move like this. And again, you can see a very light front moving through, but for the most part, we get warm air that kind of impedes. But the main system is in here, and look at this intense precip down in here. That's impressive. Yeah, so, and we could have some snow maybe in Kansas again, or some frozen precip. We'll have to watch out for that. And again, this storm system kind of moves a little bit more. This will be a little bit more to the west. And again, we will watch out for maybe some more rain this time for basically all of the Northeast, and we may have to watch out for thunderstorms with this one as well. So we'll keep our eyes peeled on that. We get a kind of cool flow through the 22nd. We kind of maybe warm things up just a tad around the 25th. I mean, you can see a lot of stormy weather moving through as well. It's not going to be all that warm as far as temperatures go through basically through the rest of April into the beginning of May. So that's what it looks like to me. And then that's the GFS. Looking at the euro now. Looking at the euro here, basically, again, almost a similar situation. All right, so here exits that storm. There's that first storm that moves through. Okay, now notice we have a little frontal system in here, and we do have a lot of precip in here, but what's going to end up happening here is that there's a storm down here into the southeast and a little low pressure area, and what's going to end up happening is it's going to kind of basically create a little block, and once this front moves eastward, it's going to kind of weaken this precip, and it's going to kind of it's going to kind of basically take all the moisture out of this little system in here, and it's going to basically do nothing. So notice how it weakens, and there could be a little something that forms in here, but I think for the most part our main threat comes with our second system that moves through towards the end of next week. And again, that could be doing something kind of interesting. But again, it's got to be played by ear for these folks in here and along the East Coast. But for the most part, I think somebody in the Northeast will be seeing thunderstorms next Friday or Saturday. That moves out, and basically things will start warming up again, maybe around the 22nd. But we'll again have to kind of play that out by ear as well. So for the most part, though, I think a generally cool pattern. We're going to look at snow right now, the snow forecast, and basically this is again overdone in southern New England, but northern New England, that's pretty much accurate. There comes that next system through the northern plains, and notice those folks could be getting some nice snow and some more snow in through Wisconsin and the UP of Michigan. Those folks seeing a lot of snow out there. And for the most part, I think snow is over with here into the Northeast. There could be maybe another storm or two coming in for into northern New England, but like I said, for the most part, I think we're done. Then after that, basically, again, it's a very up and down sort of pattern. There is a possible concern that there could be some frosts that kind of move through the Northeast through May that could put a damper on the growing season for folks in the Northeast. But because there's a lot of cold air bottled up in Canada, and with all these fronts coming down and storm systems coming down, it doesn't give much room for growing. Um, so basically, we get these little fronts coming through. It warms up for a couple days, cools down for a couple days, and that's the general pattern that we're gonna be in here. Warm a couple days, cool a couple days. It's not gonna stay stable through the beginning of May. We may start warming things up once we get into the beginning of May, but it's gonna be a little while before we see some real warmth. And even with this next little storm system moving through the end of next week, if we don't get enough instability, and if these temperatures aren't as warm as what the Euro is showing, it's going to be tough. I mean, basically, it's just going to be a line of heavy rain and maybe some gusty winds. But for the most part, I think nothing really major. I don't see huge storms. I mean, the GFS is putting something out there, but as far as a major rainstorm, but it's kind of tough to tell at this particular point. Basically, right now we're getting into a kind of un un not really an unactive pattern, really, an inactive pattern. I mean, there is that storm next week, but for the most part, no, not a lot of snow, not a lot of rain, and just kind of quiet. So that's what it looks like to me right now. But again, we'll keep you updated. But for right now, that's it for us, and I'll be back tomorrow with another update. Take care, everyone.